It's Friday afternoon in Sydney.
Hang on. All right. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. It's Friday afternoon in Sydney, Australia, and that means it's time for Friday Beers with Marc and Stuart.
So keep going. Keep going.
That fool over there is Marc Kennis, and I'm Stuart.
Keep going. We're never going to go right.
And I'm Stuart Roberts, and we're the founders of Pitt Street Research, Australia's leading provider of issuer-sponsored equity.
Should we start over?
I think this needs to be starting over. Yeah, okay, right.
All right. Clark.
It's Friday afternoon in Sydney, Australia, and that means it's time for Friday Beers with Marc and... Okay.
Keep going.
All right, one more take. This time we're going to get it right. It's Friday afternoon in Sydney, Australia, and that means it's time for Friday Beers with Marc and Stuart. I'm Stuart Roberts.
I'm Marc.
And we're the founders of Pitt Street Research, Australia's leading provider of issuer-sponsored equity research focused on small and mid-cap companies traded on the Australian Stock Exchange. Marc, it was Valentine's Day this week. I presume you got a reasonably good haul when you got home yesterday evening.
Absolutely, yeah. I was spoiled.
Right.
How about you?
Well, as you know, I'm single. So yeah, no love for me. Yeah.
Well, you know we're being watched all over the world, right?
Okay.
So maybe this is your time. Just look at the camera.
Okay.
Make your pitch.
Okay. So any ladies out there aged 40 to 50 who go to church and who would agree with me that Tony Abbott was one of Australia's better prime ministers, please get in touch. My contact details are at the end of this video.
Maybe you never know.
Right.
Response to this.
Right.
All right.
Well, so it's interesting. I was thinking about that. What stocks are actually leveraged to a good Valentine's Day in Australia? And I've got the perfect candidate.
Right.
Lavisa. Every time I go to my local shopping centre with my two daughters, I let them loose with maybe $20, and the first place they go to is Lavisa. Now, as you know, it's the leading provider of inexpensive jewellery items. The typical spend in Lavisa is about $20, but this chain is growing like topsy. They're up to in excess of 300 stores.
But it's come off quite a bit since last June.
Right.
And it sort of peaked at 12.50.
Yes.
Back to, what was it, 5 or 6?
Right.
And now it's starting to go up again. But so what's happening there?
So basically, AGM last year, they flagged that same-store sales were actually going backwards. They were down 0.9% year on year. Now, that was coming off a period where same-store sales have been close to 6%, and they target 3 to 5 in that store. So the usual naysayers then claim, well, they've lost their mojo. There's no way they're going to get it back in a hurry. I'm thinking it's potentially an aberration, but it could be part of a larger picture that you and I have been debating over the course of time. Is the Australian economy teetering on the brink? So not even Lavisa with inexpensive $5 jewellery.
Well, just looking at economic growth predictions for this year, they've come down, but still, from quite a high level, 3% down to 2.5 or 2.2, whatever.
Right.
So you wouldn't say just by looking at the numbers right now, but yeah, I'm not too bullish on that, because if you look at the facts, you're seeing credit growth is coming off.
Well, we're brokers, right? Never let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Yeah, of course. So that's what we've got you, right? Tell a nice story around it. I'll just look at the facts, and you see it in certain certain companies like Badcore, released the mechanics, the auto parts, the body shop guys.
Okay. Yep.
Took a big hit.
Yes.
Disappointing sales.
Right.
People are just not buying stuff anymore. You see it in new car sales. Car sales itself, the company had a big sort of impact from the Hain report.
Right.
Because of the lending side of the business. So, I'm seeing a lot of signs now that sort of point in a downward direction.
Okay. So you're reasonably bearish, it's fair to say.
Let me summarize that.
Well, I'm feeling pretty sad at the moment, so I think we ought to make this Friday Whiskies with Marc and Stuart.
Look, I don't want to make you sad. I know you're quite bullish.
Right. Okay. So let's just put this aside while I paint what could be the bull picture on the Australian economy. If you want a good shorthand way of where the country's going, look at the price of copper. Copper is a key industrial staple around the world. Mm-hmm. We export a fair bit of it out of Australia. We're not the world's biggest player in that regard, but it's a good proxy as to how things are going. 5 or 6 year bear market for copper. It dropped to $2 a pound in 2016 and then rebounded quite strongly. At the moment, it's $2.78. So I'm still feeling the love for the resources sector. Think about what else is good in the country at the moment. Interest rate's still next to nothing, 1.5% for the cash rate.
Yep.
So the cost of money is relatively low. Business investment is up. No surprise there. It's easy to borrow. There's plenty of public infrastructure spending going down. You can't swing a cat in Sydney, for example, without running into some sort of major road project or something like that. But the big one for me is unemployment. 4 years ago, the unemployment rate was 6.2% in Australia. It's now 5% and going lower. So my sense of it is things are pretty tight. The most recent GDP has had us growing at 3%, and that frankly had everyone surprised.
And I guess the benefit for Australia is you can always migrate yourself out of troubles, right?
Right.
Just get more migrants in.
Right.
More spending.
Right.
So it's one of the benefits for Australia as a country.
Right.
Similar to Canada or the US.
Right. So I mean, look, no economy is foolproof. But I'm getting the sense that 2019 is not the year. So I've bought my sunscreen here. I think the sun is fairly.
You're willing to put a bet on that? Maybe it might not be this year, might be next year. 2020.
Okay.
Recession in 2020. How about that?
If we get to a recession in mid 2020, then I will dance Gangnam Style.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
In my Tony Abbott budgie smugglers in front of the stock exchange building down on Bridge Street.
I'll drink to that.
You willing to shake on that?
Yeah,
all right, good. Yeah, okay, right.
So again, Stuart, this week we got some, maybe not fan mail, but we got some comments from our loyal viewers.
Right.
And actually, this
always
is
great to get fan mail, I've got to tell you.
Absolutely.
Right.
This was one of the more insightful ones. The viewer said he preferred Credlin.
Okay.
So, and I have to agree with him. And I think you're a very handsome man.
Yes.
But yeah, you just don't do it for me.
No, I think Credlin is better. Yeah.
Choice between you and Credlin.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Sorry.
I mean, let's face it. She was the lady who made the Tony Abbott premiership. So yeah, we're big fans of Peter Credlin in this organisation.
So we're agreed on that.
Right. Okay.
All right. On a different note, we put out a report this week on Domicom, and code is DCL. And basically, what Domicom does is it allows investors to invest in property, but in fractions of property. So you don't have to buy an entire investment property, like an apartment or a house.
Right.
You can buy, if you on that platform through crowdfunding, you can buy a fraction of a house.
Which is something you should have been able to do 30 years ago. But it's fair to say that the way in which property changes hands in Australia has been archaic up until recently, right?
Absolutely. Right. And I think that platform could essentially disrupt this market quite a bit.
Right.
The other product they have is what they call equity release. So let's say you're a baby boomer, you're late 60s.
Yep.
Got all your equity tied up in your house. You don't have that much cash or small pension, but you got your house all paid off.
Right.
One of their products allows you to partly sell that house, still live in it, so you don't have to downsize, and you can use the cash coming out of that to you can give it to your kids. You can live off it. So it's very interesting, I think. And
coming up.
Looking at the potential for this one, I think the targeting 1% of the SMSF market longer term, of course, is a long-term goal. But so we're talking about, what is it, 7 billion?
Right.
And this is an asset management revenue model, so just a percentage of assets under management.
It's like 7 billion out of a $700 billion self-managed super fund pool. Yeah.
And keep in mind the CEO used to be one of the founders or CEOs at Premium.
Right.
Premium.
Yep.
They achieved 4% market share there. So 1% isn't beyond the realm of possibilities, I think.
Right.
So have a look at Domicom. It's on the website, and we'll run a link at the bottom of this item afterwards.
Right.
Right, Stu. So what are we drinking today? This is Atomic Pale Ale from Gage Road Brewing.
The Gage Roads Brewery. So we're over in New Zealand last week. This is a Western Australian brewer. It's about 5 kilometres west of Fremantle, and it's a public company, about $100 million market cap. And I'm a big fan of this company because I think they can be the next Bose in terms of where they're going. Now, the proof is in the drinking. It's an American pale ale, 4.7% dry hopped, and the grapefruit flavours you can taste in there is the Artanum hop, not a particularly well-known hop that they've used to spice that up. Not sharp edge, but a reasonably good IBU in the 30s. But again, like a lot of the beers we've been drinking, doesn't have that hard edge to it at the end of it. Finishes quite nicely. Heard some complaints that it was a little watery, but frankly, I don't feel this.
No, that's all right. Tastes good.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all we've got time for this week.
Right.
So with that, have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Happy investing, and here's to no recession in 2020.